Hello and welcome to GTO Coach and Go. I'm Jim Dellerman with Group Travel Odyssey, and I want to thank you for joining us again today. For those of you who may be joining for the first time, or if you've just not done this yet, if you are watching us on YouTube, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And also, if you ring the bell, you will be notified anytime we have new content on our YouTube channel. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn at Group Travel Odyssey, and make sure to like the Group Travel Odyssey Facebook page as well. Well, today we have some really great information. We have some partners and we have some integrations with different companies. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about Cenext. But now I'm not going to be the one who's doing that. So I'm going to bring on the director of Group Travel Odyssey, Corey Vries. Corey, how you doing?
Pretty good, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing really well. As I was saying, we're going to talk about our Cenext integration and some of the updates that have been happening with Cenext as well. So, what is Cenext and what is our integration with them?
So Cenext is one of our partners that is a hotel. I call it a hotel getter. That's what I think they are. Is if you need some hotel in a place, whether that place is someplace that you know really well or someplace you just have no idea where to start getting hotels, the easiest and quickest way to get accommodation quotes in our system is to go to one of our third-party vendors. Cenext has some integrations that they wanted to beef up, so we partnered with them to beef up their integration so that you can maximize out what they can provide for you. And because it's so easy, I always suggest that people use one of our partners. And because Cenext does sort of beefing up, it makes it so that it's even more flexible. Of course, with flexibility means that there's a little bit of training involved, and that's why we're here today. So let's talk about a trip and its accommodations and how we would do that. I'm
Sure.
going to stall for just a moment while I select the screen that I would like to use. I'm hoping it's this one, and which will all go now into. It says I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it, Jim? There it goes.
Yes, we can.
Just took a second.
Ooh.
Yeah, there we are. When we're in infinity, I know we've hit the right spot. So, but let's talk about a trip. I've pulled up a trip here to New York, going on the 10th through the 16th of this November. We've actually put several different proposals under here, but I'm just going to go ahead and start a proposal. This is a trip. You're going to add a new proposal. The reason I'm starting here is because past proposals won't do everything that you want it to do. And I'll talk about how to make it do what you want it to do if you've already got a proposal in there and it doesn't have all the information. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a proposal just like normal. The first thing that I would always want to do is update my numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in, must have been a student trip. So I'm going to put in 45 students, 5 adults. And we'll just go ahead and save that. There's no reason to do the rest of the stuff. That's not why we're here today. When you go to do your accommodations, right? You go to your accommodations button. You come into this screen, which is pretty much normal. You make sure that the number of rooms that you're going to request is what you want. So this is calculating that I need 17 rooms total, 15 group rooms, a driver room, and a tour director room for a total of 17. I, of course, can add additional rooms if needed. That's fine. I would also want to check whether or not they need baggage handling, breakfast at the hotel, bed sharing. This is all review, but it is pretty important that you have this information in if you want it. And it's also going to standardize your hotel check-in date and checkout date by when you're arriving and when you're leaving. We're going to one destination. We're going to be there 6 nights, so we just need a hotel, right? We can press any one of our hotel partners. Cenext is the one that got beefed up, so let's check it out for a second. For those of you who use Cenext, you're going to see that there's a couple of extra fields here. The first field that you're going to see is average ages. And you think to yourself, why do I even need to know average ages? Well, especially for trips overseas, hotels over there give different rates for different age groups. And for a group of 18-year-olds and a group of 16-year-olds, that's very different to them. Unlike the United States, where you go to school until till you're about 18, they have different dividing lines, right? And so what is a student, what is an adult, those sort of things gets to be kind of tricky. So average ages is a good thing to have in there. If you're just doing a good old student trip, my suggestion is type in 16 and be done with it. If you're doing middle school, type in 13 and be done with it. If you're doing an adult trip, seniors may get a better rate. So if your average age is in the 60s, well, put that in there. It's information that helps them. You'll also notice that there's a trip destination, and you're like, didn't I already give the destination? Because of the way Cenext wants its information, really what you're choosing is United States or somewhere else. It defaults to United States. So if you're doing a trip to the United States, you're just doing something here in the United States, no problem. Just leave it the same. It should default there. However, if there is nothing there, just go ahead and choose United States, right? Then this part is the same, which is basically to tell how many of each you need from Cenext to for them to quote out, right? So we're going to say we only need, 17 rooms, right? And we'll just say for fun that this is going to be 14 quads, and we'll do 3 doubles. And then the rest of the information comes in for you, right? Including the need breakfast at hotel, this stuff that was sent beforehand. You want to put any special requests in. And in fact, I would put in special requests. So, and that could be just anything. We want to stay near Times Square. It's just any other information you want to have. You'll also notice something new, which is this report right here down here telling you a city, your check-in day, and the duration that you're going to be there. This is important. But for every trip that you create in the future and in the relatively near past, this should already be here, right? This entire New York, your check-in date. So basically, you don't have to do anything to it. If you're doing one city, the check-in date, the checkout date or the check-in date and the duration is correct. You don't have to do anything. You're ready to send this to Cenext. You'd press the button to send to Cenext. We're going to pray that Cenext understands that this is a demonstration trip and he doesn't call me. And then what's going to happen is, as Cenext gets those in and sends them over, they will show up in your hotel quote. So you'll just start seeing quotes show up there. There'll be communications to say that it happened. All that is the same. So really the only new part that we've done is we have said average ages, trip destinations, and we've created this report down here, which seems a little weird. However, there's a reason why that's down there, and I'm going to show you. Let's say we're going to 2 different places. If you just hit the Cenext button normally, it's going to say Chicago, Cincinnati. It's not going to know when you want to be where. So let's add a proposal to this trip. Try to spell our partner's name right. We're going to go into our proposal details. This was an adult trip, so we'll add 50 adults. Save and close. Now when we come into accommodations, we're going to check, we're going to put special hotel requests here now. And this is where you would have normally put in your check-in, check-out dates. But that's a little weird for Cenext on the other end to have to parse that out and create a bunch of different records that they wouldn't necessarily have to create if we had given it to them in the passover to them. And that saves time. If they don't have to include a bunch of new records by hand, that saves time. They can easily send it out for quotes. When the quotes come back, they can easily send it back. So that's super important to understand that even though you might have to type something out or do something a little bit differently, it speeds the process up. So in this one, you might just want to say that you would like cookies upon arrival, right? And then we're going to go get our quote from Cenext. Same thing here. Our average ages. This time our average age is going to be 55. I just made up a number, but we need 27 rooms this time. We'll just get 27 doubles and be done with it. We'll be able to see all our stuff. Here's our cookies upon arrival. And here's what you see. You see the city is Chicago and Cincinnati, and there's a checkout date or a check-in date. This is the way it has normally been sent to Cenext. And this is where the problem comes in, is with both city names, they have to create a bunch of records. So let's do it for them. We're going to add a hotel. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the Cincinnati one. Actually, we're going to do the Chicago one because I can spell Chicago better. I don't remember the dates of this trip. Jim, do you remember the date?
I do not. I'm sorry.
Well, in what is a mishap of being live, I have to go find out. The check-in date is 5/24 of this thing. So 5/24. So we're going to say we want to be in Chicago on 5/24. We want to be there for 2 nights. And what you'll see is now we have a Chicago and a Cincinnati. We're going to edit Cincinnati. And we're going to take out Chicago. We're also going to be there 2 days because we were supposed to be there 4. And our check-in day is going to be 2 days later on the 26th. Again, that seems like it's a little more work, and it is. But now we have 2 cities. So when our quotes come back, they'll already be designated for which city and which hotel and the number of nights that you want. And by doing this, they should receive then 2 requests. Cenext doesn't care which group it's attached to. They just need to know what city and when you want to check in. By doing it this way and us sending it to Cenext, then basically you've got your accommodation set, and when those quotes come back in, you'll get both cities. So that helps them out and creates the right records. You still get to communicate with Cenext. So once your quotes start coming in, you can message back and forth using our messaging system. None of that has changed. But because now you've given better information to Cenext, what you're going to find in the very near future is that coming back from Cenext will be more information about the hotels themselves. So they will be able to tell you things like whether it has a pool and maybe the star rating. So more information will come back to you about those hotels as well as we beef up this back and forth system with Cenext. Now, for those of you who are on a trip, I'm going to go back to the first one I created, and I'm going to go to a proposal that I did a while back. So let's just go to our corporate demo. The reason I say this is because when I go to Cenext now, and I put in my number of rooms that I want, which is 15, I enter my average ages. And notice that the trip destination did not fill in. So I want to use the United States because this trip was created before we created this system. What you'll see is there are no hotel travel record dates found, right? This is because this proposal was created before the Cenext system was beefed up. No problems. Here's what I know. I want to check in on the 10th, and I'm going to New York. And I'm going to be there for 6 nights. So basically, I got to put my special requests in. So now when I add my hotel dates, which I've forgotten now, which was the 26th or something.
24th.
24th of May.
Oh, is it the same? Yeah. 24th of May.
24th of May. I'm going to be there 6 nights. You could put Times Square in here again. This is really if you had like, I want to use the I can't even think of a defunct hotel chain anymore I was going to use. But you could say you could choose a preferred like a if you knew of another
Right.
or know what hotel you maybe wanted, you could do that. And basically now we have our hotel travel date, and
Hmm.
we're set to go. We're ready to send to Cenext. So even if those two things, the trip destination and the add hotel travel date, don't appear, you're still able to add them in if you have created your proposal um, before we were able to change the system over. And that's basically it. It's not great changes from your end, but it will be great changes. A lot of reward on the back end when you're getting information back, and you are getting your quotes, but also the amount of information coming back from a quote will also be greater here in the near future. So
And
we're excited about the changes.
I like the ability to have multiple check-in dates, because I think
Right.
that has always been a confusing issue with people, with operators that are sending in any way, in any method, when they're trying to book their hotels, is just keeping those check-in dates straight, depending upon what city they're in, what dates they're going to be there, things like that. So this kind of gives them that place to actually put that. So that's really
We're
great. And if you all have questions about anything with CNext, by all means, contact us through our help desk, help@gtonetwork.com, and put help in the subject line. And we will make sure to follow up with you with any answers that you may have or that we have for questions that you may ask about the CNext integrations.
Yeah, and I've already had the question of what happens when you are traveling to a destination and have to stay overnight in a place, right?
Hmm.
So you don't have to put a city that's in the title of the trip. So I wanted to be clear about that. So if we were going to New York, but we had to spend the night en route somewhere,
Hmm.
we would add a hotel record with the travel dates and the city, and saying one night. Um, but and that doesn't have to be one of the cities that you're traveling to. It
Right.
could be any city. So even if you're just traveling from place to place, spending a night a night overnight somewhere, you could still use the same process.
Yeah. Well, it's nice if you've got a student group doing a motor coach trip, and halfway through they need to stay. They're going to Orlando from the north, and they're going to stay in the Carolinas somewhere. You can have that as their overnight, and you can add that city in without having it being in the name of the trip. You can still go ahead and add that city in, so that way
Exactly right.
CNext knows that that's one of the cities that they're going to need to get quotes for.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Absolutely.
So it can, again, what we've done is we've given you more flexibility. It just
Mhm.
requires a little bit more data input on your part to make that flexibility happen.
Yeah, but even with that little bit of data input, it clarifies things a lot, and
I agree.
it's going to save our operator members a lot of time, just organizing things once that information comes back into the system. Because when it
Yeah.
comes
And
back in, it's going to be very specific to whichever city, and check-in dates have been put into our
yeah, and in
system.
in in fact, um, for trips that are just one destination, regular trips, one destination, there should be no change at all in the process, because all the stuff should already be filled in. Your United States should be filled in. Your hotel should already be, your hotel travel dates should be filled in, and all you have to do is add your number of rooms and your information and hit send to CNext. So it doesn't change a single destination trip at all in its
Right.
process. It's just multi destinations that happen.
Brilliant. Well, that's fantastic. And again, remember, contact us through the help desk if you have any questions on this, or need a little bit more information on CNext and how it works. We'll be more than happy to help you out with that. Also, just a reminder that GTO Coach and Go happens every other Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. So we will be back in 2 weeks with another Coach and Go session to take you through some of the big processes and updates of GTO. On the weeks that we don't have Coach and Go, we do have what we call GTO Fast Break. And GTO Fast Break is a short video clip that we post on our community forum in GTO. every other Tuesday. So the Tuesdays that we don't have Coach and Go, you will find that we post our fast breaks. And again, it's just a little video clip that gives you some pointers, some updates, some small processes that have been tweaked in GTO. And we want to make sure you have the information so that way you can use GTO more efficiently. Those all can be found on the community forum. Again, in GTO community forum, if you take a look under media, you'll be able to find all of the fast breaks. For our Coach and Goes, you can find all of our Coach and Goes on our YouTube channel. And again, just a reminder, if you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure to do so and ring that bell, and you will be notified anytime that we do have new content on our YouTube channel. Corey, thank you so much for joining us today and taking us through all of this wonderful stuff with Cenext. And I am assuming that we will be seeing you probably in a couple weeks again.
Sounds good to me. I'll be here.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you for watching this episode of GTO Coach and Go. We invite you to stay connected with Group Travel Odyssey on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and be sure to check out more of our media, including Destination Dispatch and the Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast. Please visit our website, grouptravelodyssey.com, where you can learn more about GTO and request a demo. Group Travel Odyssey, business without boundaries.